Welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me.
No, man, thank you for being here. First of all, let's start with this. What do you want to go by? Is it Lil Dicky, or are we going by Dave? Are we going by Dave Burd? Because you're in one of those rare positions where all of your names are becoming famous.
Yeah.
Which is rare for people.
That's cool.
So are you going? Because the show is called Dave.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, if you meet me in person, which I think is happening right now.
Yes.
I certainly prefer Dave. I feel like Lil Dicky is just an aggressive way to greet someone.
Although I feel like the little ahead of it diminishes some of like the aggressiveness. You know what I mean? Because if you say like, hey, what's my name? You like Dicky, then it's like, wow.
Just like two.
But if you go Lil Dicky, it's like, oh, okay, I can handle that.
A two-word name is tough.
Two-word names are tough. I like that. So Dave.
Dave, yeah.
Welcome to the show, Dave.
Thanks, Trevor.
And congratulations on your new show, which is already getting some great reviews.
Thank you. Yeah, I put my heart and soul into it.
You really did, though. People say that and it's like, I put my heart and soul. But you put your heart and soul. This is a story that is loosely based on your life, which is a really interesting one.
Yeah.
You've loved rap your whole life.
Yeah, sure.
You wanted to be a rapper.
Yeah.
You wanted to make music. Mm-hmm. Your parents were like, we're not going to give you the money to do that.
No. But fortunately, I had a bar mitzvah, and it was kind of out of their hands. So. Is this a Jewish crowd? I can't believe the exception. So, you know, I had X amount saved up for my bar mitzvah, and my parents actually wouldn't even let me touch it until adulthood, which in retrospect was a great call on their end. And I spent that money on financing my first music videos as a rapper.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So you took the bar mitzvah cash.
Yes.
And then you made your first...
Content. Yeah.
What did you use the money on?
Music videos, you know, the lights and the camera and paying the people and the models.
Okay, and yes, but then I remember, but at some point there was a Kickstarter as well.
Yeah.
How did that come about?
Yeah, so eventually that bar mitzvah money ran out pretty quick. That was like three videos worth, and then to really sustain a career and to pay rappers to get on songs and to tour, I just needed more funding. So I did a Kickstarter and I raised $113,000, and that was wonderful.
I love that.
Yeah.
I like that as an origin story, because a lot of rappers, you don't know where the money came from, or where, like, a lot of rappers just got the chains, got the gold, but you're like, where did you get it from?
Right.
And then here you like bar mitzvah chains, bar mitzvah gold. This is
everything's right out there for people to see. Yeah.
You've really blown up because your rap has been really interesting in that, yes, it is very funny, but you don't like to think of it as comedy rap.
Yeah.
There are funny moments in the rap, but many people have said you're a really good lyricist as well.
Yeah, no, I pride myself on, being an elite, top-tier rapper. And I feel as though, obviously I make a lot of jokes in the music, but I don't feel like being funny and being a good rapper should be mutually exclusive.
Right.
I feel like before, comedies weren't always movies, it was like gestures in a castle making jokes, and then I don't know if I'm even making sense right now, but then eventually they made comedy movies, and thank God they did.
Right.
They're so fun to watch.
But I hear what you're saying.
Yeah.
You're saying comedy can exist in any form or
why
format.
not?
You can write it down, you can act it out.
Yeah.
You've chosen to take your life, turn it into a comedy, put it on a show, and that's what Dave is about, loosely based on your life.
Yeah.
But what I like is you don't tell us which parts are loose and which is based on your life.
Yeah. Just up for interpretation.
There's a lot of interpretation, though, in the show.
Well, it's I'm fortunate that where my life is incredibly entertaining. I'm literally a famous rapper. I go around the world and rap.
Yeah.
But then at the same time, I really am just like a loser and a Jewish kid who can't even record half the time because his nose is too stuffed. You know what I mean? So it's like a very interesting juxtaposition that I'm living in. Yeah, truly. Half the time I can't even record because my nose is too. I'm not even kidding. It's and I have to wear a neck pillow just to hold my head up because my posture's so bad, and my recording setup is so unsound ergonomical. I'm not even kidding. This is all factual. Yeah. Truly.
So help me understand, because I've seen you talk about some of these stories, and some of them are really, they seem sincere, but then I don't know if they're a joke, because you know what I like about the show is you're telling us a story of your life. Either way, whether it's loose or based, there's some really heartfelt moments.
Yes.
You're laughing, and then you're like, wow, I feel sad for this guy, and then you feel sad for the world that he's in, and I feel like you, as Lil Dicky or even as Dave, you've managed to exist within two worlds where you make fun of yourself, but you're still good in creating the music.
Yeah.
And then you talk about things that most rappers wouldn't dare. For instance, you talk about having a micro penis when you were young, and that's what inspired Lil Dicky.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, like I'd be lying.
This is true.
Yeah, like I have like if you were, I have a small soft penis and like, and so that's like I have tons of sexual insecurity and I think it's like I can't even tell my life story without like really talking about my sexual insecurity. So I think that greatly informed my rap name and like episode 3 of my show comes out tonight and it's really like all about that and I'm really bearing my soul. And
does it ever get weird to you that it sounds hilarious?
No, I know it's
because it's a comedic trope that has been used for so long. But then you're like, no, this is my life, and then the people we're laughing.
Yeah, no,
it sounds very funny.
I'm happy with that. The fact that that is the reality is I think good for me because then it's like heartfelt but then funny at the same time, which I think is the ultimate form of comedy.
When people watch the show, what do you want them to walk away with? Like, how do you want them to feel about Lil Dicky, the artist? What do you want them to know about Dave?
I'm ill-prepared for that question. I think when they watch the show, I feel like the show contextualizes Lil Dicky to an extent. Like I feel like when people meet me, they oftentimes say, "I didn't know you were going to be a nice guy. I thought you'd be an asshole." But I really feel like I'm a very kind man, and I think the show kind of shows the guy behind, the decisions that go into making, Lil Dicky be what he is. And I think if you watch the show, I don't care what your dream is, I feel like you can apply it to the show because like I had like a very improbable dream and it came true and I think that's kind of the core of the show and everyone out there probably has their own dreams and I think if you watch the show it'll inspire you to act. Not act like be an actor, but act on your dream.
Act on your dreams, but not act like an actor.
Unless your dream is to be an actor.
Unless your dream, then you
it will
act
inspire
on your
you
dream
to
by
act.
acting.
Yes.
I think we
We're
got
on
it.
the same page.
We're on exactly the same page.
This is going well.
This has been a ton of fun.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for being on the show.
Thanks for having me, guys.
Dave, it's a really funny show. It airs Wednesdays at 10 p.m. on FXX. Dave Burd, everybody.